觀眾朋友大家好，我係向善人，我哋係會齊沿途北部嘅粵籍小軍。大家從畫面度就可以看到，呢一度嘅後背當到嘅鋼筋分化嘅咩拼音，是第14歲嘅達賴喇嘛誕正家族。下個電視台我專訪達賴喇嘛嘅計劃，從去年時開始，年前嘅4年中文世界而進行。唔過杜可都多專家冷多張站頭，3年因是有大俠嘅假擺，總算確定對8年中對底下達賴喇嘛建立西藏流氓政府60年嘅所在地達蘭薩拉進行專訪。冇想到採訪團隊出發嘅前3年，現況要接到通知，同到專家去到達蘭薩拉隔壁嘅隻小軍來做公開嘅分發。雖然講兩地嘅距離只270幾公里，不過因為都係對喜馬拉雅山腳下海拔差唔多2000公尺，所以山路彎路就唔好行。係講夏天交通狀況好嘅時節，時差差唔多係6到8點鐘。係講天氣唔好，冇時路行要差空嘅時節8到10點鐘，也非常嘅正常。不過也係咁樣，本嚟老觀眾朋友同我家嚟了解機會。就可以看到達賴喇嘛對戶外公開分發嘅畫面，當然也非常難得嘅，就對達賴喇嘛嘅前景，也在達蘭薩拉是布達拉宮以外會所進行專訪。
你好，你好，小心得了，准備啊，
Good morning, Your Holiness. We are very happy and very grateful to have this wonderful opportunity to connect Your Holiness and the 4.5 million of Hakka people in Taiwan. The total population of Taiwan is 23 million, and Hakka is about 1/5 of the population. So I wish through this interview there will be more and more Hakka people in Taiwan, and even by internet, to make more and more Hakka people around the world, they can connect and make the distance closer with Your Holiness. Allow me to introduce you myself. My name is Paul. I'm from a Hakka village of northern part of Taiwan, Hsinchu. My first question would be,
yes.
You live an uneasy life. You were recognized as the 14th Dalai Lama, and also you become the political leader at age 16. Then Your Holiness established the exile government at age 24. We can look back this history. It's been very difficult. But when I look into all the footages and the videos about Your Holiness, I can always find a smile on your face. Are Your Holiness the most optimistic Dalai Lama ever? How could you make smile on your face all the time?
Firstly, I'm a human being. I believe, even according to scientists, basic human nature is more compassionate.
Yes.
Reason, we are social animal. Any social animal and emotional level, you see, there must be something to bring together. That's a human love, human compassion. So individual human beings' survival depends on the community. So we must love community because that is basis of our own survival and happiness. That's my fundamental belief. Wherever I go, I always telling that. And 7 billion human beings, basically same emotionally or mentally, physically, we are same. We all have right to achieve happy life. So then, you see, consider entire humanity. Of course, as a Buddhist practitioner, the animals, different sort of species of mammals, you see, we usually call mother sentient being, but they have no ability smiling. We human beings, by nature, we have the ability to smile. Then I know, you see, according to my own experience, as soon as I born, then human language not yet developed. I do not know. But emotionally, by nature, I totally rely on my mother. My mother also, you see, take fullest care. That's the way our life starts. So then, among the children, they don't care what's other nationality or religious belief, but so long each other play together smiling. If you show sort of the angry face, then even children don't like. Dogs also. So when we show them smile and genuine love, loving kindness, they also appreciate. So therefore, according to my belief, I feel smile is very good. And also, you see, one Buddhist master, I think some people say 8th century, from Nalanda, the Shantadeva, in his writing, you see, he mentioned, as a practitioner of Bodhicitta, whenever you met someone, you should receive with smile. It mentioned that. I practice that as much as.
I will do
I
that
cannot
too.
smile to mosquito. Occasionally mosquito come.
Bite you?
Yes, wait. Say there is no danger, quite sure, malaria. Then I give some blood, mosquito. So they enjoy my blood and their whole body become red.
Yes.
Then they fly. No indication of appreciation.
I remember you emphasized the importance of inner peace. And also, Your Holiness say the ultimate of happiness and joyfulness are from inner peace. Can everyone, including me, my cameraman, can we all achieve the status of inner peace? Are there any standard operational procedure to do so?
Now the problem, existing education system. I always was telling, expressing, the so-called modern education start from Europe. Then that modern education very much oriented about material value. West, the Judeo-Christian tradition, simply faith towards God, no knowledge how to train our emotion. So the education, a country where just a faith, no knowledge tackle our emotion. So the modern, the Europe, the industrialization, then just a faith or monastic sort of education, monastic or nunnery education, not sufficient. In the past, education carried by monastery or nunnery. Now industrialization developed, so that education now not adequate. So therefore, they develop separate education institution. Then the responsibility of the separate newly developed education institution, then the only concern is the development of the material, including science and technology, these things. So modern education become very much oriented about material value. So now, for example, it is quite clear, children, say 5, 6, 7 years, the basic human value very much alive. The children play together. Then once they join education institution, then you see, make differences on the basis of faith and nationality. So modern education, very much materialistic education. And then the children from birth, you see, they sort of have the potential, show other loving kindness. Now that become now what called? Kasa? Dormant. So usually I make distinction, brain and heart. Modern education only concerns brain, not warm-heartedness. So through modern education, the entire community, or now humanity, even through modern education, now they create some kind of materialistic life, materialistic culture. There is no room about this warm-heartedness. Only in this country, India, over 3,000 years, the concept of ahimsa, karuna. Ahimsa means non-violence, and karuna means compassion. And see, the method training our mind, the shamatha, single-pointed mind practice, and vipassana, analytical meditation. This country, 3,000 years, already developed. And Buddha himself, product of these traditions. So now modern education come from West, you see, different, just a faith. Therefore, the modern education alone not sort of sufficient to tackle our emotional problem. So now today, on this world, you see, so many suffering actually created by ourselves. Because you see, we only think about material value, and for that competition and cheating, all these, corruption, all these happen. And then too much sort of desire or economy, these things. And then eventually you see too much emphasis, differences, we and they, then war, killing happen. So therefore, now I often now expressing, we need from kindergarten level, while teach children the hygiene of physical, we must teach hygiene of emotion from kindergarten level up to university level. Then education become more complete, taking care about material value and at the same time taking care about inner peace. Nothing to do with religion. Religion is something individual business. This healthy mind, healthy body is the interest for entire 7 billion human beings. Universal value. Although these sort of method teaching our mind, these things come from religious text, but we should consider these are academic subject, not talking about nirvana or karsa.
Jingtu, pure land.
Oh, pure land. No, not talking that. Just how to live day by day, year by year, happy person and a happy family. That's our aim, including non-believer and among the believer, different tradition. It's private business. Now, as a human being, we really need more inner value, because of the deeper experience about inner value, then genuine world peace can achieve without paying much attention, just material education, material thing. Then money, only money important. In order to make money, fight or produce more weapon,
Yes.
including nuclear weapon. All these, I feel, related with the education system, not educate about warm-heartedness, like that. So therefore, the smile is very important. Then on top of that, if my teeth is very very bad, then maybe better. Maybe like that. But my teeth are quite good.
Yes.
84-year-old person, my teeth, even some hard nut or something, I can eat, no problem.
I read a sentence in a documentary film. It says, when science contradicts faith, Your Holiness is likely to choose science. That's more than I could imagine.
Of course, I respect all religions, all faith. However, see, among the faith, the theistic religion believe God, creator. The non-theistic religion, no creator, but self-creation. So, non-theistic religious tradition, investigation, consider very important. I'm follower or student of Nalanda tradition. The Nalanda tradition, we always emphasize investigation, research, and experiment, not faith.
That's science.
Wait. Nalanda tradition.
Yes.
Buddha himself, you see, told us, oh, my follower, monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. Buddha himself told us. Then, like Lunsu Pusa or the Nalanda master, they investigate Buddha's own teaching. And then some Buddha's teaching, he taught different group of people who have different mental disposition. So therefore, among the Buddha's teaching, we must make distinction. This Buddha's teaching is true the view of Buddha. And this teaching he taught because of the audience mental disposition. Therefore, that we cannot accept literally. So Nagarjuna make distinction. Lungsu Pusa make this distinction. Some Buddha's teaching we can accept. Some Buddha's teaching we cannot accept because it goes against reason. So that's, I think, quite unique. Most of the theistic religion is just a faith. The non-theistic religion, particularly Nalanda tradition, investigation, everything investigation. So therefore, the Nalanda tradition is very scientific way, not faith, investigation. Some Chinese scholar in mainland China who who noticed some of publication from here about Buddhist science and modern science, these things. So they express Nalanda tradition is a very scientific religion. It is true. And then my own experience, you see, about now 40 years, I have serious discussion with scientists, mainly cosmology. We have much sort of knowledge how whole universe start and galaxies and eventually disappear. All these quite detailed explanation, some Buddhist text. And then I think global warming also some indicated in these texts. In this country, in Nalanda tradition, thoroughly sort of investigate what's the reality. They both accept, you see, there is big differences, appearances and reality. You see, purpose of that, you see, make distinction is all destructive emotion based on appearances. So in order to reduce, you see, the negative, destructive emotion, it is very important to know the reality, not just to accept the appearances. So there is always differences, appearances and reality. So we Buddhist tradition, we usually say two truths. One conventional level, one the reality only knows through analyze. Like a quantum physicist, they analyze the object, external thing, different part. Finally, atom, nothing there. So, big differences, reality and appearances.
Then I'm going to the second part of the question. Is Your Holiness as a friend of Taiwan? First of all, Hakka people, most of us are migrant from China like 400 years ago. And of course, this is different from Your Holiness established the exile government here in India. My question would be, I remember in the first anniversary of the exile government, Your Holiness delivered a speech and mentioned our first priority is to settle down and continue our cultural tradition. That's 59 years ago. Could Your Holiness tell us what are the special features or qualities of Tibetan culture? What make Tibetan people different from other people culturally?
Tibet, quite a big land.
Yes.
And the Qinghai province, and then because Xikang Samarwe, the Kham area,
Yes.
and then central Tibet and the western part of Tibet. You see, little different dialect, but all you see use the scripture, which actually translation started 8th century. The Tibetan emperor, 8th century, see, he invited one Nalendra master, Shanda Rakshita. You see, he introduced Buddha Dharma according to Nalendra tradition. And then also, you see, he advised Tibetan emperor, 8th century, since you have your own script in the 7th century, another, you see, the Tibetan sort of king, you see, introduce Tibetan script, copy from Indian Devanagari letter. Sometimes we can pick up a few words in Ashoka pillar, like that. So the alphabet, or copy from Indian, one Indian ancient script, and then correct, yang the sages ka sire.
字母和母音。
Ka.
Alphabet and vowels. Consonant and vowels.
So since 7th century, the King Songtsen Gampo married with Chinese princess, and with princess, the Buddha statue, very important Buddha statue, brought to Lhasa. Still, it remains most, or say, the sacred or precious Buddha statue. So, it seems to say, Songtsen Gampo, 7th century, he married with Chinese princess, and I'm quite sure he enjoyed Chinese food. But he found Chinese letter too complicated. So he preferred copy from Indian Devanagari and alphabet. So he developed Tibetan script. So therefore, 8th century, the Nalendra master Shanda Rakshita reached Tibet. He advised, you have your own writing script. So now better to translate from Sanskrit mainly, and Pali, and maybe some Nepalese language. So mainly Sanskrit. So translation started. Altogether, about 300 volumes. So therefore, you see, Tibetan language, something unique. Mongolia, you see, use Tibetan language, and Himalayan sort of area use Tibetan language. Otherwise, you see, no other country. So, the people who use Tibetan language maybe around 6 million. In China, in Chinese constitution, recognize some area as Zangzu Dichu.
Yes.
Zangzu Dichu. So altogether, maybe 6 to 7 million. The Xizang Zitichu, about 2 millions. Okay. So the entire Tibetan is the same language. And in that language, I think most Buddhist philosophical text available. So now that is Tibetan culture. Today, the Nalanda now ruined completely. All the knowledge of Nalanda, Shanda Rikshita brought to Tibet. And then he also used to advise some young Tibetan sent to Nalanda at that time, study Nalanda, like Kasadi, Shunzang Samare,
玄奘大师，
Tangsen,
唐僧玄奘，
like Shunzang, also used to come from China and join Nalanda institution, study. Some scholars say he met Nagabodhi,
龙觉
uh,
论师，
the Nagarjuna's senior student. When Shunzang met him, the Nagabodhi, very old. Some say that. And anyway, you see the Buddhism and Hansu Tichu from Nalanda. And Tibet, Mongolia in this area also is from Nalanda. So we are actually Hansang, spiritually, truly spiritual brother, sister. Now differences, the Chinese Buddhists, they do not pay much attention about logic. We Tibetan pay much sort of interest about logic. So now today, whole Buddhist world, Tibetan, only Tibetan, you see, use extensively logic. Like Dignak's one great scholar of logician, Dignak and Dharmakirti. So the logic, very important. Logical approach, always, you see, whenever you heard something, even Buddha's own teaching, the first reaction is why? Not yes, yes, yes. Why? So that brings further investigation. Very important. So even I think the political matter or economy matter in any field, the word why is very important. Then you see you develop the further investigation and try to look through different angles. Through that way, you will see the reality more complete form. With that knowledge, then your method become realistic method. Unless you see, otherwise you see just look from one angle, and then without seeing the whole, because of the holistic view, then you see your approach often become unrealistic approach, like that. So therefore, logical approach is very, very important. So that we Tibetan kept over 1,000 years, according Nalanda master Shanda Rikshita. He himself, great logician and monk and philosopher, great. So after, during his period, some Chinese meditator also there, and he provide one special sort of building for Chinese meditator. These meditator very good. Then eventually, some of the Chinese meditator, they emphasize meditation some kind of thoughtlessness is important, not study. Study is not important, only meditation. I noticed in Japan, some Japanese Buddhist monk, they also believe only meditation can become Buddha, not necessary to study. So that is some of the Chinese Huashang, rather. They emphasize meditation is more important than study. So, according to Shanda Rakshita's advice, after him, the Kamalashila invited to Tibet, and then led debate with Chinese meditator and Kamalashila, and then the Chinese meditator, they defeated and they expelled. So study is very important, meditation very important. But you see, in order to practice meditation, you need certain sort of understanding, certain sort of spiritual experience. Without that, just a closed eye, remain like that. Even some birds, without disturbance, then pigeon, I think, remain like that. We cannot say they are meditator. Okay. So we human being, this brain, intelligence, we must utilize fully this intelligence. For that study, then our mind or knowledge scattered, that remain weak. So channelize, single-pointed meditation. So together, analytical meditation and single-pointed meditation. So like that. So therefore, today I can say Tibet, I think, kept fully the Buddha Dharma, Buddha's teaching, Vinaya, and then these the philosophical sort of teachings or views. So now already number of, I think millions of Chinese Buddhists, they showing interest about, you see, Tibetan Buddhist tradition, which we kept over 1,000 years from Nalanda tradition. So we can serve them, we can help them, or provided the material development, the Chinese should help us. Therefore, we are not seeking separation. We are not seeking independence. The 7th century, 8th century, 9th century, Chinese emperor, Tibetan emperor, Mongol emperor, 3 countries, independent. Now that's past. I always admire the spirit of European Union, independent state, but they consider common interest is more important than individual sovereignty. So I also feel we Tibet in many centuries ago, independent country, but now modern time, we are 20th century, 21st century, much better part of Zhonghua Renmin Gonghuo, and work together with mutual respect. Traditionally, China is Buddhist country. A lot of Buddhist temples there. In 1954, 55, I spent a few months in China proper. So I noticed many Buddhist temples. So remain within the union, and Chinese economically now very powerful. So let them build, construct Tibet materially. And meantime, we can serve the Chinese people in general, and particularly the Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist, you can. And then certainly overseas Chinese. Many overseas, wherever overseas Chinese there, some Buddhist temple always there. And then Taiwan, Buddhism very strong. So now I'm thinking not only just Taiwan, but whole the Han people, Chinese people, wherever they live. So now in this country, in India, I'm trying to revival of ancient Indian knowledge. In modern India, as I already sort of mentioned, the British introduced modern education. That's materialistic education. And then I think in this country, in early part, when British introduced modern education, and I think India a little bit neglected about ancient Indian knowledge, which we kept now. Now this must revive in this country so that India can do modern education, can combine modern education and ancient Indian education. Indian education bring inner peace. Modern education bring material development. India can do. So then India over 1 billion population. China again over 1 billion population. Traditionally Buddhist country. And Chinese Han people usually is hard working. So combine India and China, the big population of the whole world, like that. So I think with inner peace, some knowledge how to tackle our emotion, that's the realistic best way to bring inner peace. Through inner peace, world peace can achieve. And mainly China, unfortunately, communism. But communism, I feel the Karl Marx, he developed Marxism. See, that time, the industrialization in Europe, too much exploitation, working class people. So he stand right for working class people and against exploiter, including kings, queens, like that. And then also you see he developed the concept working class people are the ruler of the country, not king, not queen. And then in his economy theory, equal distribution. So Karl Marx's theory, I feel wonderful. So as far as socio-economy theory is concerned, I am Marxist.
Yes.
Half scientist, and then one part Marxist, one part Buddhist monk. Dalai Lama is just a name, like that. So there, but you see that pure Marxism spoiled by Lenin.
Yes.
Lenin, because of the circumstances, you see, wartime, serious civil war in Russia under the Tsar, lot of difficulties. And the First World War, this is the Western attitude also, you see, a little bit negative. So the Lenin's mind more wartime way of thinking. So suppression,
Yes.
ruthlessly, and secrecy, and totalitarian. I feel genuine, wonderful Marxism spoiled by Lenin. And then Chairman Mao Zedong also followed that.
I'm going to ask you a question related to this. Do Your Holiness pay attention to the protests in Hong Kong recently?
Oh, Hong Kong, and when Deng Xiaoping, you see, he created one country, two system. Realistic, wonderful.
Yes.
But now, recent weeks, you see, very much sort of disturbances. So I feel some worry. It's better, I think, everywhere. Peace is the best way. Hoping, right? Hoping. Very important. You see, any problem we can solve through talk, or not through sort of some negative influence, under the influence of anger, no use. So a little bit, is it too much disturbances? So I cannot do anything, only prayer. And then Taiwan, you preserve freedom, democracy, and most important, the ancient Chinese cultural heritage, including Buddhism, preserved in Taiwan. That's very important. So sometimes I feel the mainland China, under the leadership of totalitarian system, you see, they want to liberate Taiwan. But I feel, long run, Taiwan's democracy, freedom, and traditional religious knowledge, these eventually, you see, with these sort of tradition, I think can defeat totalitarian secrecy that I think the Chinese people, after Deng Xiaoping, China opened with outside world.
Yes.
So thousands Chinese students and also tourists, you see, have the opportunity to see outside world. So thinking, changing.
Yes.
Some occasion, I met some Chinese students from mainland China.
Yes.
I met some in Australia, some in America, and Europe also. You see, some actually, they told me, when they were in China, mainland, you see, because government propaganda, you see, they have the impression Dalai Lama, old person, very narrow-minded. When they attend some my talk, they found Dalai Lama not like that. So they come to see me. So you see, distorted sort of the propaganda, distortion, right? So in any way, now China, more wider contact with the outside world, so China will change. The democracy is the future of the world, not a totalitarian system. Only question of time.
Mm-hmm.
Mainland China gradually will change. I notice, you see, my lifetime, Chairman Mao's era, there are some good points, but too much sort of, or say the kasa, 왕자심대야 돼. Tight control, or authoritarian system.
Yes.
Then Deng Xiaoping opened China with the outside world. So one famous sort of his expression, white cat or black cat doesn't matter so long can mice, because of can catch mice. So whether capitalism or socialism, or important is people's living standard economy. So you see, I think he opened, as a result of his sort of open China with the outside world, economic condition China much better. And millions of Chinese, I think including patient, they got some benefit. So then, they got Jiang Zemin.
Yes.
Jiang Zemin era. 3 represents. Quite wise. Educationist. These things, respect. Then Wu Jintao era, it seems sleeping. Then now Xi Jinping.
Yes.
Say, one, you see, he, I think, quite boldly, you see, because of the struggle, corrupted official.
Yes.
Good, that's good. Now he himself, you see, of course, such huge country, over billion populated nation, many decades, just one total system, totalitarian system. So he must find difficulties, but he's thinking more realistic. I think eventually the human nature will love freedom.
Yes.
And just beside mainland, Taiwan, same Chinese culture, same Chinese people, it's much developed.
Yes.
Because of freedom.
Would you like to visit Taiwan again?
Firstly, we need some kind of positive sort of, or say, the blessing from mainland China. 대만 당국 그들이 나 대만 좋아. 가.
1997.
가.
1997.
1997. My first visit, Taiwan. I really very much enjoy. 드디어 간다 신진 가사.
리던회.
당국. 리던회.
Yes.
리던회. First, we met. You see, his sort of also, he showed this hand. And then I also, you see, do that. Very nice. Very nice. I very much enjoy. And also I give some teaching. Jinshin Lama. Jinshin. In any way, I very much impressed. So then when I reach Taipei airport,
yes,
I express, I wish some representative from Chinese embassy and watch while I'm in Taiwan what I'm saying. They should know. My visit purely spiritual, nothing to do with politics. So then at that time I decided Lord Nanja visit Taiwan. Then I think second time Chimburba.
2001.
Then third time Dosyoman.
2001 is the typhoon, and 681 people were killed in the southern part of Taiwan.
Right.
You console them, have spiritual support for them.
Right. And then, meantime, we developed direct contact with the Chinese government in Peking. So then I feel a little inconvenient visit Taiwan. So now we'll see. My contact with Chinese government in Peking is the unofficial
Contact.
Some people from time to time come to see me.
Even now?
Yes, I have some contact.
Yes.
And then the exile government, we never use the word of exile government, but we use the word because of the Central Organization. That's naturally. Now here in India, around 100,000 Tibetan. So we need some sort of one organization who look after them, their settlement and education. And now in India, some big historical Tibetan monastic institution re-established in India, mainly in South India.
Yes.
So monk student, about 10,000 monk students,
Yes.
they carry study, at least in order to become scholar. 20 years they study. In the past, in Tibet, 30 years, 30 years in order to become scholar. So we carry continuously that tradition in India, mainly in South India. So these people eventually, you see, can be very useful for revival of ancient Indian knowledge in modern India. And also, whenever some, and Taiwan also, you see, some scholar visit Taiwan.
Yes.
And Tenzin Chamjin, 가서 그저 정말 가서. No. You see, they annually come here, and I give some teaching, and also ordination, like that. So they can, in the future, I think you can carry, I think, revival of ancient Chinese tradition, and including Buddhism in mainland China. I think mainland Chinese people need using these knowledge. So the Taiwanese people, you see, should not demoralize. Keep your enthusiasm.
Yes.
And strictly non-violent way, peaceful way. And very important to keep visitors from mainland China
Open.
If they are sight, and then beyond our control. Otherwise, the Taiwanese should open.
Interaction.
Yes. I never forget my very happy, I think, 3 visits to Taiwan. So in future, whenever some opportunity come, I'm very much willing again visit Taiwan. Thank you.